Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Ken Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
It's been an interesting week. Did you guys do anything fun and exciting?
I voted.
Oh, there you go.
XPZ had a lottery pool, and we thought about what we would do if we won.
Oh man, I need to check my lottery ticket.
We didn't win.
You didn't win. Somebody in California won.
They did. Well, we were playing the California lottery, is what it was.
You didn't do the Mega Millions or whatever?
No, it was like the CA lottery Powerball.
The 1.9 billion or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was everybody's. Like, I played that one here.
CA lottery.
What?
State lottery.
I think it's everybody's.
Get paid.
Yeah. And that was the one that it got memed on because like they had technical difficulties and had to delay the drawing on Monday.
Yeah, because some state didn't report in.
Well, it was the California lottery.
No, the Powerball. I played that one.
Job.
The 1.9
Powerball
billion.
is like 46 states Carriquins is.
Yeah.
So it's not just California. I don't know. I've never literally paid the lottery before.
Yeah.
I
guess the winner was in California, though, because they said there was one winner in California that got the numbers. But either way, it was fun. Like, it's a fun little thing to do, even though I
would have to physically go and do something to play it. So typically I don't do things. It seems like you only have a chance to win if you play it, right?
Right. It costs like $2 a ticket, get a pool of like 20, 30 people, split it evenly if you win, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so we have all sorts of topics tonight. We did a little after hours, a little pre-game before the after hours, and some hot takes in the pre-game show. So if you listen to this podcast and you're like, man, what the fuck? Where are the hot takes? Gotta go Patreon.
Yeah, where are the hot takes? I want the good shit.
$6 or something. Is that what it is?
It is $6.
For $6, you can hear these hot takes. And you can also help a lizard man in a human skin suit not die this winter.
Yep.
We appreciate your patronage.
Right. Let's get it going. Let's kick it over to Wyatt for Would You Rather.
Would you rather never be able to cut your hair again or never be able to buy new clothes again?
All hair?
No, just your head hair.
Just your head hair?
Yeah. Beards and shit don't count.
Can never cut my hair again. Or never buy new clothes. Eventually I'd be naked, right? Like, because my clothes would eventually be like unwearable, right?
I don't know. How well do you take care of your clothes?
I mean, I don't have any. I mean, regardless of how well I take care of them, like, I just have like t-shirts and shit, dude.
He paints on them.
I think I'm down to like 2 pairs of pants that are wearable. I mean, they're gonna be pants. They're gonna be capris. They're gonna be shorts. They're gonna be like never nude underwear shorts. I think I have to do the hair just by like the status of my current wardrobe. Because like I realized in my 60s I would be naked. I'm kind of forced into this.
I almost feel like I might be the opposite.
Yeah, you have a lot of clothes.
I have a lot of clothes, but you know what I don't have?
A lot of hair?
A lot of hair, yeah.
I mean, but so you're going to have like super long hair or a lot of clothes.
What would Rob look like with like long blonde surfer locks? I think we need Rob to grow his hair out to answer this question.
Can I steal new clothes?
No.
Let me see if I got some.
There's no loopholes. You just can never have new clothes by any means.
Yeah, what's the status on loincloths? That's right, Wolf Priest Carl. Can I wear a dish rag as a loincloth once I'm naked?
The old cock robe.
Do my towels count as clothes in a pinch?
No, they're towels.
God.
So no toga sheets either.
Unless you were already using them as clothes. No, I'm fucked. Dude, it's not gonna work for me. I gotta go with crazy hair. Unfortunately. Yeah. I wouldn't if I had a better wardrobe, I might chance it, but it's not gonna work. Nah, like you can't game it as that. Like unless like I would imagine if like I already, let's say I exclusively only made my own clothes, the genie might let it ride. I don't know, but who does that? There's no way to game this.
No, nobody makes their own clothes.
It's like the clothes you have is the clothes you only. That's it. No new additions to your wardrobe.
Oh. The only way to game it is if you like truly went on a journey of self-education and like you had to get the cotton, its raw state, get a loom, turn that into thread, and then make that thread into clothing, then you could wear it. But otherwise, like no new clothes.
The genie will allow you to make your own clothes under those circumstances. I have to process the raw materials myself.
That just sounds like too much.
Nah.
No, there's like I said, there's no game in it. Like if you killed a hobo, like can't have his clothes.
Can't loot.
Yeah. Even if those clothes themselves are very old, they're new to you, thus you can't have them.
What if your mom buys you new underwear for Christmas?
They just disappear.
Yeah. Long hair for Kenny. How about you, Rob?
I kind of want to try the long hair.
Hey, it's cool. You have an excuse, too. So even if you look dumb, it's like, I mean, look, Doc. Genies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, am I right, genies?
What's up with them genies?
I want Bonet to write a screenplay about a world that is just like ours, except where would you rather's are real.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's just like a constant like interaction with people and fucked up would you rather's.
It's actually not a bad movie. You can make it kind of a comedy. Like,
oh, it's absolutely a comedy. Yeah.
A world where like a would you rather actually happened, and then like everything is messed up, and you have to find the genie to like undo it. That'd be a good like
And so you can say things like
comedy
genies, right?
Yeah, dude, right. It'd almost be like one of those White Castle movies.
No, absolutely. In that same
dude, that would be so good.
What if my hair catches on fire?
Does it grow back like magic?
If you do it to yourself, it's impervious. If it's a true accident, then you might die. Because if your brain, if your head is on fire, right? That's a real like medical thing.
So you can't engineer a hair fire.
Like if your brain goes over a certain degree point, you're dead, right? So if it's a true accident, then sure. But if you were like, hey, there's a fire over there. What if I accidentally fell into my hair? Oh no, my hair is on fire. Then it's like, no, it doesn't work. Like I said, can't game it. Like you have to think about the unthinkable choice instead of a way to get out of the unthinkable choice. That's the heart of the game.
I can live with hair that I am not allowed to cut, but I can't exist in society, I think, for even 15 more years on what I'm currently got in my closet.
Really?
Yeah. All I have in my closet is like t-shirts that are from my own shop. I've got like one pair of wearable Jinkos left, 2 pairs of jeans that were given to me a few years ago that I'm starting to wear out. That's it. That's my whole pants game. Okay? I've got some Dickies that I've had for a while. I think I have like a suit that I've had since I was 19. Like just the jacket, not the pants. I've got another jacket only that Bonet got me. I've got a couple of winter coats. A ton of socks that already have holes in them that I haven't thrown away yet. Maybe like 2 pairs of good socks total that would be reliable for a few years. 3 nice pairs of underwear that Bonet bought me last year for Christmas. Like, in some, like, underwear I should have already thrown away. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a pair of... Do shoes count as clothes?
Yeah, they're clothing.
Yeah, my boots are already 9 years old, and I've had to re-glue the sole 3 times.
You still haven't bought new boots?
I still haven't bought new boots.
Dude, get some new ones.
I'm fucked. You see what I'm saying, Rob? I'm in a bad situation. I'm going to be barefoot in, like, 3 months.
I remember, like, 2 years ago, we were at LVO, and
I was gluing the sole back on, right?
Dude, get some new boots.
Same boots.
Come on.
Same boots. I've got, as a matter of fact, let me look around. I'm pretty sure my boot glue is like here because I use it so often now that I need to have it. There it is. I've got literally boot glue right here.
Jeez. At least like send them off to somebody to like have them professionally redone if you want to hold on to them for sentimental value.
So yeah, you see the problem, Rob? I'm basically down to flip flops in 3 months. Can I continue to repair my boots though? If I've been doing that as a trend already?
Yeah, if you choose no new clothes, I mean, like you can take care of your stuff.
I can take care of myself, like patch it up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I switch my answer. In which case, I think I'll be okay. I think I can go on forever.
Yeah.
I think I'm crafty enough to make that work.
If I could remember the name of the paradox, I would institute it. What is it? Is it like the boat of Odysseus? Or something like it's the logical paradox where like if you end up replacing every single part of a boat over time, is it the same boat?
Yeah.
I would institute that if you ended up replacing every single part of a pair of pants with patches until it's nothing but patches, then you can no longer wear them.
Okay. That's my limit. Got it. The ship of Theseus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, chat. So that's my limit. Got it. I think I can make it. And then eventually, let's say I'm 85 and now I can't make it anymore. Fuck it. I'm just a crazy naked guy. Old naked man. People are like, they make boot glue? Yeah, man.
I had no idea.
It's just super glue, with a caveat where it's super glue that's more flexible. So, like, it doesn't just break the bond based on movement. I've had this one bottle the whole time. Like, it's, I repair the boot, and then a few months later, sole kind of starts lifting in one spot. Got to do it again. What kind of boots are they? They're Tim's. Brown leather Tim's.
Solid.
That I bought. It'll be like 10 years this Christmas. Like, they lasted a long time.
It's a good run.
Yeah, that's above average, I feel like.
They're so broken and so comfortable. And it's not like I'm not opposed to getting new boots. It's just like, again, it's the whole lottery ticket conundrum. I got to go do that. And I'm like mostly just sitting here in my Beats lab like, it'll be all right. I'll just glue them up for the next tournament. I was like in an airport coming back from a tournament when the sole almost entirely popped off. I was like, this is going to be inconvenient. Walking from terminal to terminal.
I always used to hate the flip flops when the bottom rubber used to like start to separate and you get to like that double flop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens with boots too.
But it's even more pronounced with a flip flop because you're like plop plop. It's like, dude, let me go spend $5 and get some new flip flops.
And they're my only shoes. Like, this is my daily wear. Like, I don't have another pair of shoes.
Oh my!
I have flip flops. I have flippies and these. All right. Well, good would you rather? Rob a long hair, Kenny old crazy naked guy, fighting chickens and stuff, in a world where would you rather's are real. That's right. We call it the H walk, Zenru. The hobo walk. So let's kick it over to Rob for Mantis news. Got some compelling
yes.
news about Star Wars that's totally relevant and awesome, and everyone
totally super dope and very relevant.
I acknowledge I'm in a minority, and of people who are not excited by new Star Wars stuff.
Man, if you want to see some salt, you need to go over to, well, some of the Legion Star Wars groups basically.
And I'm not excited about new Star Wars stuff for a completely different set of reasons than these other people, which is that I've never been excited about Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I get that. And, I think Legion is actually a really well done game in general that's fundamentally different from other tabletop war games, including Warhammer 40K. And I think a lot of people have gravitated towards it in the past year or so, especially with the affordability of those battle forces they put out for like $150. I can definitely see where the momentum is starting to pick up, but a lot of people have very varied opinions about this new Shatterpoint. A lot of folks. So let's just talk about it real quick. So AMG yesterday announced that they're coming out with a new skirmish level Star Wars tabletop war game, miniatures war game, right? And they said, hey, this is going to be completely different mechanics from Legion, completely different from Marvel Crisis Protocol, although it looks very similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol with the bases. But if you take a closer look at the bases, the thickness of the lip seems to be greater than the Marvel Crisis Protocol ones, which is leading a lot of folks to say, hey, it might be like a 40 millimeter base, which is a completely different scale. And we've kind of seen some scale creep, like going from Imperial Assault, which was something that FFG put out back when they were partnering with Games Workshop. There was a huge rumor. I say rumor, but I have some backdoor knowledge of the actual thing. But when
backdoor knowledge.
Some backdoor knowledge. When GW was licensed to FFG to do all sorts of RPG games for Warhammer 40K, supposedly one of the things was they're like, yeah, you can't do a fucking tabletop game. It doesn't matter what property it is. So that's why eventually they came out with X-Wing. But then when the two parted ways, suddenly Legion appeared out of nowhere. How about that? So that being said, they did Imperial Assault, which was technically not a tabletop miniatures war game. Then they did Legion, which is a tabletop miniatures war game. And now they're doing a skirmish level one. So the scale creep keeps going up. Understandably, because they want to sell a different product. I get that. But the thing that a lot of folks in the Legion community was that they're worried that this is going to basically lead them to stop supporting Star Wars Legion. And when so many people are coming on board and getting into the game of Star Wars Legion because of the accessibility of models and the fact that, I'm just going to throw this out there, some people just aren't super happy with the way 40K is, even though it's probably the most balanced it's ever been. Other folks have been gravitating towards some of the Atomic Mass Games properties. So people
which
really
is a completely fair
that.
assessment, because Warhammer 40K is not nearly as accessible as one of those other games. Like 100%. We've mentioned it so many times. Like, it's a part-time job to be relevant in Warhammer 40K at the 2,000 point competitive level. It is not anywhere remotely similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol or Star Wars Legions.
I mean, when you can buy a box of Star Wars for $150 retail and get pretty close to 800 points, which you need to play a game.
Financial and time investment alone are incomparable. Like
yeah,
they all take effort to be good at, but like, you get to start working that effort equation within like 15 minutes of opening your first fucking box of fucking MCP models. You know, you're not even like halfway done with your first intercessor and hating your life.
Well, some of the early MCP was very intercessor-ish. So, but they've gotten better. Even Legion has gotten better. So anyway, so a lot of folks were really mad, or not mad, but upset, or kind of thinking to themselves that Legion's going to get abandoned by AMG. And, you know, there is a basis for that assumption, because we've seen it with Star Wars Imperial Assault, but technically that was Fantasy Flight Games. We've seen it with Star Wars Armada, which basically happened after Fantasy Flight Games got folded over to Atomic Mass Games. And also the head developer, inventor of all those games, X-Wing included, has left AMG and now is working for WizKids, I believe. So in theory, I could see where people are upset about it.
There's a trend of them doing this already when things change.
Yes, there is.
Things have recently changed, and now there is a precedent that makes people nervous that they will abandon the old.
And so, to their credit, AMG came out and they said, "Hey, look, this game is going to play completely different from Marvel Crisis Protocol and all the other Star Wars games." They straight up said that. They're like, it's its own thing. They also said, "Hey, we're not going anywhere with Legion." As a matter of fact, they have previewed a ton of stuff for Mandalorian and Boba Fett, also Ewoks, and they had some rumors on some additional battle forces that might be coming down the line. So there's stuff out there.
Oh, Ewoks, those are my dudes.
Yeah, there's going to be an Ewok army, like no joke.
They're going to fuck up those stormtroopers.
Those are my dudes.
Charlie's in the trees.
I mean, fucking Home Alone style, exclusive beatdowns.
Yeah, with slingshots and shit.
Oh, Kenny, did you know that in the most recent Star Wars Battlefront game, there's a mode where it's like pitch dark and you're in the woods as stormtroopers with an Ewok hunting you? And then if the Ewok gets one of the stormtroopers, they become an Ewok. And then eventually it's down to like one stormtrooper being hunted by a bunch of Ewoks.
I'd play that.
It's so cool.
I'd play that.
I'm pretty sure Ewoks were cannibals. So anyways, Star Wars Shatterpoint, it's coming 2023. And they just put out a call for playtesters actually too. So if you're interested in playtesting a new skirmish game, hey, sign up for the survey. I think they wanted a couple of answers. It looked like a lot of writing, but nothing that you wouldn't have to do for playtesting anyways. So if you're into that sort of thing, check it out over on Atomic Mass Games Facebook page.
Yeah. Models look especially sick. If you only care about cool models, they have some cool models.
They definitely have some and some stuff we haven't seen in any other game systems yet. So
thank you for breaking that down for me, Rob. I am now excited for Star Wars stuff.
I'm glad we could turn you to the dark side, so to speak.
Yes.
Oh yes, I like that.
Yeah, you don't want like a sick Darth Vader mini you can paint? Like, come on.
There's two, as a matter of fact.
Return of the Phantom Menace. I'm here.
There you go.
So anyways, for Games Workshop releases, we know that the new Astra Militarum Cadian Stamps Army Box is going to go on pre-order this Saturday, and it will be coming out Black Friday weekend. It's $200, and it has, by my estimations, around $388 worth of stuff in there, kind of depending on what they do with the field ordnance teams, which I suspect
$380 worth of value.
Yeah.
How much of that is terrain and books? How much is terrain and books?
Well, there's no terrain, but the books are $55 and the cards are generally $38.
Okay, I hate that. Never mind.
But I mean, everything else in there, is for the most part, makes up the rest there. So I think it'll probably be a good.
Do you remember when we had $300 value boxes that weren't padded by a rule book and fucking cards and shit?
I do. Those were the good old days. So I imagine a lot of Guard players are very excited about that. I certainly am. It's going to be fun to put those new models together. But I think I'm probably more excited personally for the new Rogue Doran tank to compare that to the Macarius once I get that all put together. So also the Orc Goth Rocker Christmas promo miniature will also go on pre-order on, I think it comes out the week after. So the in-betweensy week, that is $35. But you have until the end of the year to order yours and it will be delivered. So don't worry about that if you missed out this week or you can't get to a store or whatever. Also, GW announced that the return of the Christmas battle forces, and they're going to do them bigger and better than ever. Apparently everything this holidays is going to be bigger and better. So there's 15 this go around, 8 just for $40K. They all seem to vary in value between $320 and $340, which is a really tight kind of grouping of value wise that we hadn't seen in a while. Sigmar is a little bit more varied. There's going to be 7 of those for a total of 15 battle forces between the two systems. And they all seem to be valued at between $300 and $340. So it's kind of hard at this time to tell what the retail price is going to be until they tell us, probably Black Friday weekend. And I imagine for a release the very first weekend of December, as we saw in past years. Last year, every box was $210. It could be that they're going to increase that price to say $220, or they might stay with $210. But there is roughly $20 to $40 more value in both estimations of these boxes. So it could just be because the price increases and they don't raise the price, or they could raise the price on some of these boxes and not the others, as we've seen in the past too. So either way, they'll probably still be a really good value regardless, and definitely worth picking up. And they won't come with any instruction books or terrain, like Kenny was just saying.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. How many you want?
15.
Okay. You want one of each?
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I think they're all going to be... my personal favorites are the Custody one and the Imperial Knights one. I think those are going to be the easiest to make boxes out of, but I can see where people might be tempted to get into Death Guard or T-Sons because the Primarchs are in there.
Oh, wow. That's fucking sick. I'm in.
I'm in.
I was joking before, but now I'm serious this time.
I'm glad we didn't lose you there. Joy Toy put out a lot more previews. It's like they do this every week. It's wild.
Yeah, they are absolutely killing it. They have the Shadow Sun and the Crisis Suit. What else do they got now?
So those actually went on pre-order this week, so you can get them. We actually have a discount code with one of the resellers over in Asia.
When does Marnius Calgar go up?
Also this week.
Oh
it's on pre-order right now.
Oh my God, I gotta order this shit.
Him and the Tech Marine. Make sure you use that 10% off code. You can find it. Just Spiky Bitch Joy Toy. You'll get the code. Also, they previewed. And by the way, those Crisis Suits supposedly are 9 inches tall. So if you've seen a picture of the Outrider bike, they are, and it's 9 inches long. So the Crisis Suits are 9 inches tall, which is kind of ridiculous when you start thinking about it, because that's bigger. The figure's about 4 inches tall. So they're about 2 times as tall as a figure. Pretty wild. Yeah, Imperial Seth also said the Joy Toy Imperials Champion looks pretty dope too. And he does look super fresh.
And they're killing it.
Shadowstone looks pretty fresh too. I'm hoping there's a variant where you can put her helmet on. I hadn't actually looked at that one yet. But I think the code, let me go see what the code is.
Yeah, dude, they're so tight. Here's my boy Marnius.
They also put up on their Twitter previews of the Dread Knight that's coming out, and the dude was holding, that little piston on the leg of the Dread Knight.
Mm-hmm.
He literally took his hand and he went like this, and it was that big.
Oh, wow.
Like just the piston is like 4 inches tall. Supposedly it's going to be about 20 inches tall, the Dread Knight, which I guess would make it, it would be bigger than the Invictor Warsuit, and it would be about 3 inches to 4 inches smaller than a Warlord Titan from Forge World, which is kind of wild.
I mean, if it's to scale, it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the Joy Toy Terminator in the thing. Scale with him, so it's huge. It's so cool. I saw some people in the pre-show asking about like when we're going to do a battle report with just Joy Toy.
Yeah, that would.
And I'm like, I kind of want to at this point.
I don't even know what the scale.
We can do like a kill team for sure.
Yeah, be tight.
I
still have my repainted guy right here on the desk. I never take him off.
He looks super good. I think I want to get a few more. I kind of want to get one of the Crisis Suits just because it looks like a mech. Definitely the Custodies they previewed. I'm thinking I might want the Alaris Terminators. The Faxilla looks pretty fresh.
So here's the cool thing. So I just did my pre-order using the Spiky Bits code at Fly Ema
Flying
toy. And then afterwards, if you do their offer, you get 15% off any product for the next 30 minutes. So I can go make another pre-order with an additional 15% off.
There you go.
Damn.
Sarah likes that. They got lots of stuff up on pre-order. They got Crow.
Let's see, what do we got?
All the Green Knights. She's not sure if she likes it. Just gonna jump down. Yeah, I haven't done any Death Watch yet, though. Maybe we'll get to Death Watch. That'd be sweet.
Oh, they got Inceptors, Kenny. You could do an Inceptor.
They just previewed the Heavy Intercessors, and they look dope.
Chunky boys.
Yeah, super chunks. But yeah, if you want to get the code, I don't even know what it is, and use our affiliate link so we get a sliver of the cheddar. Just Google Joy Toy Spiky Bits, and all the links and discount codes will be there. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, so the Aliens Pulse Blaster, the Nerf gun, finally started showing up at people's doors, and that thing looks super fresh. Now, if you missed out on it, like myself, I just don't like putting money down for like a year. I don't know what it is. It's just fundamentally pisses me off. They're going for about double retail. They were $94.99, I think, from Hasbro, and they're going for $200 to $300 right now on the secondary market. Ooh. So I guess maybe I should have spent $100 a year ago.
Yeah, Doug. It's expensive to be poor. If I can get it, so now you have to pay even more.
Yep, I suppose there's that. Oh well, sometimes it'd be like that. I'm not too worried about it. I don't know. Should I buy Joy Toys or should I buy? Because I really want the Outrider bike and I really want a Crisis suit.
Why not both? If you're gonna utilize this cheat code that I'm using. I mean, I'm able to get the Tech Marine. I always like Tech Marine.
I mean, as Rob says, always said,
cool.
You got to spend money to save money.
Yeah, you got to spend money to save money. Everybody knows how this works.
Yeah.
I kind of want the Emperor's Champion. I kind of want an Outrider bike, and I kind of want a Crisis suit. And the Alaris.
That's the problem, man. I want them all, dude.
No, I don't want them all. That's just silly. You're talking silly.
Yeah, okay, so it totally does work, right? So they're like $69. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the Spiky Bits, it goes to $62.90. And then because I'm taking advantage of this within 30 minutes after making an order discount code, it brings it down to $53. So that's like the cheapest way to get a couple of things. Or you could just like chain it if they keep offering it.
I don't know.
I'm going to pre-order this Tech Marine and see if
something tells me they'll probably email you too. Like if you leave something in the cart.
Is it off your order or product?
So hold on.
I'm not really sure.
I was trying to type in my phone number without saying it out loud. So I pre-ordered Marnia Skalgar using the Spiky Bits code, and then that offer popped up. So if I finalize this pre-order and it pops up again, you could just make like 3 or 4 and take advantage of the automated like deal that they're giving you. And it did it again. So you could just do this. You could order like 4 separate orders in a row and get 59% plus another 7% off.
Well, yeah. Once you start, it's basically points at that point, right? So you're not really getting 63% off.
Do they charge you shipping every time?
No. It doesn't stack. But
their shipping's pretty fast, actually.
But instead of just 7, you get like 22% off. If you take advantage of this, like with any product within 30 minutes of finalizing an order.
Oh, I do want the Redemptor. I do want a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Get them all, dude.
No. It's too much.
What else? What else you got for news besides Joy Toy?
An Aliens Pulse Blaster. Jeez. New Vallejo paints actually are on the horizon. So Vallejo just unveiled their new site. New game color paints, also including the new Express paints, which are the contrast alternative, which also look to be a very good one-coat solution.
Are they actually new game color paints?
Yeah, they're reformulated. And there's new colors. There's more to the range. They added more to the range. There's new, and apparently they're more matte from what the site was saying.
Well, yeah, they had a tendency to just randomly turn satin.
Yeah, they did have a.
Like you'd paint some guy in like his, matte blue jeans suddenly were shiny blue jeans like the next day.
Yes, that also happened to me a couple times.
Well, now I have to amend my statements on Vallejo because I was like, they haven't changed the formula forever. And now
they definitely changed a lot, according to this. And they're also doing the whole triad thing. They call it the BSL, like base, shadow, light.
Yeah, they're one of the OGs at that.
Yeah, but it's going to be.
But now they're using a keyword for that.
Right. So there's that. There's also supposedly a security seal on the. So I guess if you got something somebody open, and then put back on the shelf, and maybe it might be tried out. I don't know.
So like a seal.
They call it a security seal, but I'm like, yo, this isn't Tylenol, right? So what's the practical purpose? I don't completely understand that, but I mean, it's a cool feature. I don't know.
To know someone didn't tamper my shit, sure.
Yeah,
it hasn't happened yet, but you never know.
That's true. I'm all for it. So look for those. The problem with Vallejo, we all love Vallejo paint. We've all used it at some point. It was probably the second thing we used.
Yeah, it was the first alternative to GW.
Right. And it was definitely popularized in the early 2000s. And fundamentally, it's just as good. It might even be better than GW paint.
It was better than GW back when it was our first alternative. But since then, GW's actually redone their formula several times. And I would say GW's Citadel line is superior to theirs, just preposterously overpriced. And so
I could see your point there.
So the last thing, I would have still deferred to Vallejo if I was in either one of those camps, because they're both inconsistent, but in different ways. GW paints are inconsistent by design. Like this is a base coat. Its consistency is different. This is a layer. It's base. So I don't want my paint to be inconsistent in any way, design or otherwise.
No.
And then simultaneously, Vallejo's issue was being accidentally inconsistent across the board consistently. Where you literally get the same pot of paint that you used for 2 months, ran out, bought it, and it's literally might as well be a different paint. So I still would have deferred to Vallejo's because at least the physical consistency of the paint wasn't like this one's paste and this one isn't. You know what I mean? As an airbrush guy. But now in the modern era, with companies like Monument Hobbies, they're all exactly the same. Every time.
That is true. And he makes it all in-house too, which is nice. So I think, I think the problem that most people are going to find is that here in the States, at least, Vallejo is very hard to get. There is one distributor for Vallejo paints in the States. It's an incredibly bad business decision by Vallejo. And the hobby side doesn't have first dibs on Vallejo paints. This is a scale model distributor. So your places like Hobbytown or mom and pop model shops are going to be able to get Vallejo paints before your local game store, even before your local game store distributors. So Vallejo struggled with these issues throughout the years, and it didn't get any better with COVID, and it's not any better right now. So finding this stuff, there may be a bit of a premium on it in the near term. So just be ready for that. If you really hey, I got to have this. But, it is what it is there. And that's the lizard news.
Mantis news.
Nice.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't even know.
You gotta keep him guessing. Just gotta keep gaslighting Robin to being a different animal. Next week, fucking Sandhill Crane news.
Not a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
What is it?
So now we're going to slide into an in-between segment on our journey to the ITC tournament structure and these buys that they're going to be handing out. So a lot of people on the internet are probably aware that there's been some internet drama, which we are not going to go into in no details, because if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm happy for you, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you do, you don't need a rehashing of it. All right. Now, this is coming from a guy who is so far removed from things that ongoing to the internet that it is not a bit that I rely on Wyatt and Rob to update me on things even pertaining to my major thing I do, which is Warhammer 40K. Right? It's not even a bit. It's real life. And so it always hurts my feelings, right? To have my best friend, Rob Baer, that I've been friends with since literally fucking over 10 years, 12 years. You know, to see him, you know, fucking chatting with me about what's going on in his life and like nothing I can do about it. That shit sucks. Like there's a real ass person over here, you know, who I care about, who from my perspective is absolutely being ganged up on and fucked with. And it is a trend that doesn't just affect Rob, that affects so many people. I had a DM the other day from a guy who in Instagram, because I interact with a lot of people on Instagram, generating leads to sell my classes, right? I'm a businessman. But also if somebody asks me some like real ass questions, I like interact with them. Cause like, that's like some human shit. You know what I mean? And literally it was about communities online. It was like, yo, I'm just, you know, it's been hard for me. You know, like I come and go and I get, you know, I just have to like take a step back every now and then. And I was just simply, yeah, like, what do you mean, man? That's it, right? And he's like, yo, it's just like, where do I fit in? These communities, I don't understand how communities work. Like I just can't. It just seems like everyone's like, you know, pitching a community and then it's like they don't give a fuck about me, right? And I was like, interesting. I was like, here's my hot take on that. You know, being a guy whose entire livelihood for the last 12 years, as of October, has been based on the internet and whose business actually would not exist pre-internet. So shout out to the internet. But also, there's a lot of bullshit that comes along with it. And here is how modern marketing works, right? Modern marketing is to sell anything. You get a person pseudo-famous. That's what an influencer is, or a micro-influencer. Or remember the old term, internet famous? Like, we don't really use that term anymore, right? Yeah. Like, famous is famous. And the term micro-influencer means you're just like mini famous to a market, right? So that person is your spokesperson, which is not a new type of marketing, right? So you have a spokesperson who is your influencer feudal lord. And a community, and this is what I told this guy, is like, and the community essentially is like a Facebook group or a Discord server. And in the modern era, how that works is you join that server and there's a community in there, and it's almost certain that the feudal lord is not going to do a lot of interacting. Like, but if he's doing his job right, the community is self-policing. The community is drawn to a style, is drawn to a personality, is drawn to a way of existing. And for the most part, it's self-contained, right? Now, the bigger that fucking feudal territory is, or the larger that fucking pie is, the less the less self-policing occurs. Like, because it's just the way of the world, right? So, like, if it's a really small, tight-knit community because it's a small influencer that is got a small market that they're working, it's very easy. But the bigger, the harder. Okay. And this guy's like, man, this is making a lot of sense, dude, actually. And I'm like, yeah. And so further to that, this is a provable concept. This like self-policing and this mirroring. Twitch will literally hold the streamer accountable for what is going on in chat. It's in the TOS. And their market research states that oftentimes what is going on in the chat is a reflection of the style and the personality of the streamer.
I believe that's called your tribe attracts, your vibe attracts your tribe, or your something like that. And
so if things are, so like it sort of just should self-correct. Like if people start coming in, spitting some hate or whatever, it should self-correct because my people who are attracted to me are similarly of mind, and I should also be the person who is the first stopgap there. But that only works when it's small, right? When you have 90, 100, 70 people, tops.
In one chat, yeah.
Right? Then you need to, conscript a bunch of fucking knights, king's men, and mods, right? The bigger it gets. That's just how it is. It's business. And the guy's like, man, this makes a lot of sense. I should join a Discord server and find my people. It's like, exactly. So you see, it's literally just a bunch of feudal lords and funneling people into communities and letting the community self-populate so that they can continue to work their demographic. Even if the person or the influencer doesn't realize that's what they're doing, they're still doing it because that is what we know is the way to do it. Okay? And you don't need a lot of people to make this work. Like, I objectively am a tiny streamer and a tiny YouTuber. I have like 60,000 people on YouTube. Like, literally, I'm like not even in the top 20 of Warhammer 40K. You know what I mean? But the second, your reach gets bigger, it seems like you're more open to criticism, and and that's also why we have laws about things you can say about people who are like celebrities and stuff. You know what I mean? And because it's like you're allowed to say fucked up things about people the more famous they are. You know what I'm saying? And that has been just a disturbing trend in our community for like the last 10 years. And like I said, I'm doing this as generalized as I can to not go into detail about it. But I've said this before. I just want people to maybe take a step back and realize that everything on the internet is served to you. It's curated for you. Okay? And if you continuously exist in a state of outrage, and I'm not saying it's anyone's fucking fault, like shit steers us and we get really on this suffering train. But if what you type in the computer is to confirm, you heard this confirmation bias, if what you type in a computer is literally like, how much does Star Wars suck now? You have to realize that that's a completely different set of fucking criteria than, is Star Wars really that bad, or is Star Wars still good? And it sends you on different paths. And then you start to kind of self-do that over the time. Not everyone's, some people are immune to that shit. But like, awareness is the first step, man. If you find yourself in a community that is advocating for ganging up on people, like sending heinously fucked up messages to people and threatening their fucking lives, if that is a community that you feel okay with, you might need to take a look in the mirror. That is not humanity.
Good segue to that point. So, it's November. It's Movember, right? Our demographic is like 99.9% male, as I'm sure you guys can see your YouTube analytics. And part of Movember that has been added to it is mental health. And part of this trend that we've been seeing has progressed extremely rapidly in the past couple of years. I wonder why. Extreme isolation, having to work from home, cabin fever, maybe losing your job because of all this stuff. So if you're in a state of mind where making somebody else feel bad makes you feel good, it's like psychopath behavior. That means something is wrong with you, right? Especially if it's over something meaningless, or this like persona that I like doesn't like this other person, so I'm going to go give them a death threat because I have the personality of a snail. Like, it's not good for you. And I encourage you heavily to actually go out and seek therapy. Like, I've been to therapy because of my experiences in the Army. Like, Kenny's been to therapy. And I can tell you, like, we have a problem just in male culture in general where like therapy means weakness. And that can't be farther from the truth. Like, therapy is literally a cheat code to overachieve at life. And because of all of the COVID restrictions of the past couple of years, therapy is more accessible than in any time in human history. So gone are the days of spending thousands of dollars to go to somebody's office, sit in a waiting room. You get to talk to them for an hour, barely work on stuff, and then drive home, right? You don't do that anymore. There's so many online outlets. There's so many ways to get help. And this is for everybody. Like, maybe you're just feeling kind of down in the dumps and you just don't have anybody you can talk to about it. Like, therapy exists for that. Maybe you're suffering from different forms of depression and it's going into your hobby space. Where you're like, man, I just don't enjoy painting the way that I used to. Like, again, that's something you can go to therapy for, right? part of the reason that this movement has caught on so much is because like in male culture, it's like dudes would just rather like die than get help, right? Or they just go down this endless spiral of toxicity and like ruin their lives because they just don't want to get help. And if you're just like not in a good place, like contact me. I will help you get help.
Well said, Wyatt. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, with your guys' permission, we can move on from this topic. This is a public service announcement and an awareness campaign, and we can move into our Warhammer 40K meat and potatoes. Is that cool with you guys?
I think you brought up an interesting point about the what we talked about first in the pregame. That I don't know if you're going to say it here, and that's fine if you aren't. But
no, you can close this out. Close it out if you want. Like,
well, no, you had mentioned that I am not going to address the issue again because on certain platforms so much was said. Because oh,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you put someone in a situation where they feel like they can't even defend themselves out of fear of being ganged up on, accused of victimizing themselves, and then literally death threatened, that's bully behavior. That's the bully behavior. And to summarize, that's what's been happening. So, yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but way worse than anything in grade school, of course.
Yeah. So you don't have to do it again, Rob. Don't even worry about it.
No, I mean I will talk about issues again, for sure. Like that's what we do. But, there's obviously going to be folks that bring it up and then turn it into a thing, and we're just not going to care, unfortunately. But so I'm sure something like this will come up again, and it will happen again, and people in their fiefdoms will bring it up like it's an issue, and it's not. You are allowed to police your community. You are allowed to block people on your Twitter. And if they're saying some fucked up things, like that's your prerogative and that is your platform. That's my Twitter that I have curated since 2010. I can block and ban and hide any comment I fucking want. How is that even a thing that I shouldn't be able to do that, or I have to be held accountable for that? It is the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard. So there will be these things in the future that will happen just because of the things we write and the things we talk about and the things we're not afraid to say. Or the issues we're not afraid to address, because at the end of the day, I don't care if I lose 500 YouTube subs or 300 people on Twitter or 1,000 people on emails, which didn't even happen. Like, I don't care. But my business, my brand, and our business model and workflow doesn't pander to those things, and not being able to have a few ebb and flow here and there of ups and downs in followers and subscribers. Our core is intact, and our core is even stronger than before after all of this. And I think for us personally that I appreciate all support from everybody over the past couple of days. And it's tough to bring up what happened because of the things that actually happened. And I'm not even sure everybody knows exactly, but it was kind of profound. I mean, dude, individuals literally did the digital equivalent of inciting a riot. like, and weren't held accountable for that. And there's something fundamentally wrong with that. Like, how is that even okay? And, you know, hundreds of people went along with that. Like, think about that for a minute. So I don't know, you know. But
no doubt. Thank you for sharing,
nothing's
Rob.
changing. Nothing's changing here, really, except for I'll be a little bit more careful about my tone in the future.
I mean, lessons learned. I mean, always good to streamline your operations walking through this world. But
Agreed.
I thank you, Rob, for sharing that with us. You know, and again, I'd like to reiterate: threatening to kill people on the internet is a crime. If it's not hyperbolic or can be conceived as not hyperbolic, it is considered a true threat.
Yep, crosses state lines and national countries.
And
like, if you live in Canada and give a death threat to somebody in America, you can be held accountable for that and be arrested. There are legal precedents.
And it's not the first time we've had to say that on the podcast, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
So let's sling it over then. Let's talk about the ITC. Let's talk about this new way of moving forward in 2023 and how it's going to affect the competition. Why?
Yeah, so FLG released a press statement, I think first on their podcast yesterday. I think they do Wednesdays. And then this morning, they released a big like infographic, really cool looking, really well made, talking about the champions of tabletop qualifier circuit. Really cool things. So this is going to start next season, so post LVO 2023. And the meat and potatoes of it kind of summed down is there's going to be certain events that are called qualifying events. And if you win the qualifying GT, you will get perks at the end of the season at LVO. There's ranking to take into account. Basically, the way this is going to work is there's going to be the top 8 of the qualifiers. And if you are in the top 8 of qualifiers, you basically get a bye game in rounds 1, 2, and 3 of LVO with a point score that is an average of the top 100 scores from the first 3 rounds of that day. So if the average score of winners from the first round or first day of competition is 75, you're going to get a 75. If it's 95, you're going to get a 95. It's just that those players get 3 Ws for day 1 going into day 2. If you're ranked 9 to 16, you get 2 games. And if you're ranked 17 to 24, you get 1 game. So it's just a way of rewarding players that are already kind of at the top so that the best players end up playing the best players. And also it avoids, for lack of a better term, seal clubbing. So they're getting an average win, you know, for better or for worse, you know, whatever it might be, if they want to take advantage of this. And what that means is that if you're kind of, there for a good time, you know, weekend warrior with your buds, you will not get dumpstered by a like ranked number 4 ITC dude there to try to win LVO. Right. So it's, you know, good on that account.
Well, also too, it mitigates the opposite happening.
What do you mean?
Well, like a top player getting eliminated round 1 at LVO.
Right. Because, I mean, even if you're not at LVO or these other large majors or GTs, people like to watch. They like to spectate. And they want to see the best players play the best players. So this just kind of helps, you know, those roads collide. There's going to be some other stuff, some cool things with best in faction going forward. I'm just going to read this because it's pretty cool and I don't want to misparaphrase. So best in faction is now better than ever and will be earning exclusive badges for winners at participating qualifiers. At participating events, each faction with a current codex will be recognizing the player with the best record, running a list purely composed from that codex. They will receive a Best in Faction badge of honor. They can show off for the rest of the season to earn additional perks at Frontline Gaming events. All FLG events, except Cruisehammer and any Teams event, will be awarding Best in Faction as well as many of the Champions of Tabletop Qualifier partner events. So that's kind of cool. It just helps out the Best in Faction race a little bit. A number of people were asking whether or not using things like Agents of the Imperium or Agents of Chaos excludes you from this award. And I don't have a definitive answer yet, but I'm sure if you ask over on the FLG page directly, they can answer that question, or it might have already been answered somewhere. And so some of you guys might be asking, well, like, what's a qualifying event? Well, it's a GT status with 58 plus players at the start of round one. The top 4 tables are strongly encouraged to use FLG terrain, but are not required. So you don't have to buy any of their terrain, but I'm assuming this is so that they can kind of have the top tables of competition be similar to the standardized terrain of the FLG majors and LVO, but it is not required. The event must be approved by FLG and the FLG judge team in advance of the event. So you can't hold the event and then ask for it later. It's going to be pre-approved. All lists must have factions noted upon the list submission deadline. And we're just assuming that's for Best in Faction awards, because there's been an issue of people just forgetting to do that in general. So like somebody will forget to put that on there and then be like, well, I have the best record and I play Ultramarines. Why did this other guy win? It's like, well, it's because you never listed it, so we couldn't collate that data. And then also Games Workshop asked in one of their, what do they call it, Meta Watch articles, that people start doing that so they can collect more accurate data on balance. And then a best general must be determined for the event.
I'm assuming that the best general might be like the runner-up in case the first person doesn't go.
Something like that, probably.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what they did with Ard Boys. That seems to make sense.
I brought up Ard Boys and tactics as like very hard because there is some truth. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I echo what KR Quinn said in chat. Like, assume that they thought this out. I'm cautiously optimistic because I like that this is a way to get us closer to like the concept of a grand finals where like we all know these are the top 10 best players in the fucking world. And I would like them all to be immediately thrust into playing each other as soon as possible and not get into scenarios, which happens frequently, where they don't even play each other and are like winning the tournament. And this was really the grand finals, in my opinion, but this guy won. See what I'm saying? So obviously we're not doing best of 3s and best of 5s and shit like that, single eliminations yet. But this is a kind of an interesting step forward into something like that, right? Now, obviously, it can get real sweaty. Rob, Ard Boys, shit was sweaty.
Shit was sweaty.
Sweaty as how many times? I did this so many times. We're like, okay, where are the Ard Boys tournaments? Okay, me, you, and you, we're going to go to this one all the way over here and like fucking, you know, the boonies, right?
Try to get a chance.
And we're going there, we're going to triple smash and take their tokens from them, their fucking golden tickets. Right. Yeah. And then like these 3 guys go all the way over here, smash. And then since we're not there, the 3 boys will just go to our local store and win. Like, so like we just farm 9 fucking tickets, smashing.
Yep. That was a real thing.
And then I remember like not getting my ticket, like not actually qualifying. And then having to like last minute find another like place that only had 6 people show up for the tournament and fucking just obliterate them all, you know?
Yeah.
So shit gets sweaty. When you put some shit like that on the line, it can get sweaty. But there weren't any parameters for Ard Boys, right? It was literally just like, you're doing an Ard Boys event and we can go smash it. Right? This
seems at least just in this document, much better thought out than Ard Boys.
Yeah, I'd say so. Because I mean, I think one of the biggest things is that it has to be approved beforehand. Because the two first things that I was thinking of when I got shown this morning was like the sweat, because right now people are lusting over points real bad. And as the season goes on, people lust over him a little bit more, and people are already being kind of sweaty to try to, on that final game to try to win the GT, when really all it means is like a trophy and some points. And so I hope this is not the case, because so far events have been great. But I don't want an unintended side effect to be, some real sweat lords trying to get that golden ticket. And then also, if you have the TO app for BCP, you can just make up an event as long as you have some BCP burner accounts. So I'm glad they kind of thought about that beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely on the lookout for that sort of thing, because there was some rumors of fraud in the past. Something might have not really been a major because they had some burner accounts, and I think they got people watching for that.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'm tentatively hopeful about this. Doesn't really affect me too much. So hopefully this will just lead to better, more fair competition down the line. But I do see some side effects that might happen. And I've been following this most of the day, and it seems like there's a lot of kickback on this, but for some weird reasons. And it's kind of like, remember when we talked about having like seated brackets for tournament play, and there was a lot of kickback to that? There's kind of this weird mentality with people where they have this sort of like, on any given Sunday, I have a chance to win any GT I show up to, which just the reality is that's not the case, man. Like if you only play one game a month with your boys, you're not going to win a 100-man tournament or a 50-man tournament, probably not even a 20-man tournament, because the guys that go to, 10 tournaments a year and really put in a lot of time, they're just on a different level. So these guys that are like just winning a 60+ man GT are putting in so much more time to the game that you're talking about like a high schooler going against an NFL player. Like it's just, you got no chance. It's just not going to happen. But what this does do is you avoid situations where these top players get their first 3 games against some tailgating dads at the event and just like crush them out to get free wins,
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see some of that ish, but going in the future, I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I'm in. I mean, I'm excited for it. Sweatiness aside, if they do everything they said they're going to do, and it's a dual sign-off, like confirmation to become one of these official events, and floor rules are utilized correctly, and people are playing tight games, nothing can go wrong. But I'm certain, as always, something will go wrong, and there will be something controversial. And change is always hard to implement. Like, this is easier to implement than any of the other things that are better than it. So,
yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. And there's growing pains with everything. The old saying, like, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? So, yeah, I'm just positive. That's like my only metaphor.
Tight. Well, that's happening. Ard Boys is back. Ooh, should I just do that for the title of the?
Ooh,
thumbnail?
that's a good one.
I don't know, man. I mean, kind of. I mean, you don't. Well, what was the big thing with Ard Boys? You get
2,000 points. You didn't have to have a painted army.
But what did you win? You got like
a 2,000 point army.
Yeah, a 2,000 point army. So it spurred sales because you didn't have to have anything painted. So, but
yeah, and there was no sportsmanship scores, and this is in an era where like that was still a thing in every event that was weighted. So like it yeah, I don't know. I mean, before Ard Boys, like if you took 3 of the same thing, people kind of like were like, fuck this guy.
Or a special character.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep. Like 100%. But, you know, I think we've evolved since then, and I think that I think this is a positive move in the right direction. It's just the easiest thing to implement. So let's implement it, and then, like it's like Wyatt said, you gotta break some eggs and make an omelet. So let's fucking go. We can do it. So let's shut it down here, and let me just kick over to Wyatt to take us out of here.
Yeah, Wyatt, take us out of here. Okay, fine. I guess I'll do it. I have one job. So that's it. For exclusive content and early access videos, become a veteran of the Long War today.